Hello, welcome to CliCli. Today we are going to learn about the table editor. In the story, we convey important information of the plot to the players through the dialog UI. How is this dialog UI realized? Do different dialog content need multiple UIs to present? Of course not. In CliCli, we can use the table editor, UI editor, and triggers together to achieve this effect. First, let's take a look at what a table editor is. Table editor is another data management tool provided by CliCli as a supplement to the object editor. We can use it to save data in the form of tables and then quickly call these data through triggers. For example, we can use the table editor to save the probability of monsters dropping items, or the type and number of monsters spawned for each spawning. There are two types of tables in table editor: one-dimensional table and multi-dimensional table. In one-dimensional tables, each row is an independent piece of data, including key, type, value, and description. In each row, different columns are different aspects of the same piece of data. For example, column 2 describes the type of the data, column 3 describes the value of the data. In addition, by locating the primary key, that is the index, in column 1, we can get the value of this specific data quickly. The table of probability of monsters dropping items is an example of one-dimensional table. In this table, by getting the name of the drop item, we can easily get its drop ratio. In a multi-dimensional table, each piece of data contains multiple attributes and values. We need two indexes to locate a specific value. The multi-dimensional table is suitable for defining a data object. The first row of the table contains the data object's attribute names. The second row describes the attribute's data types. And the third and subsequent rows are the corresponding values. For example, if you are creating a tower defense game, you may need to define a wave. A wave can be defined in natural language as follows. During the first wave, there will be 30 monsters of type 2013744418 generated. The player needs to destroy them within 60 seconds. It is easy to see that a wave has four primary attributes: sequence, number of monsters, monster type, and time limit. In a multi-dimensional table, these can be described as follows. Later in triggers, if we want to call the type of the second wave of monsters, we can use the primary index wave and the attribute unit type to quickly get the data. Next, let's see how to use the table editor in CliCli. Step 1. Edit UI. To present the dialog to players, first, we need a UI to carry and display the dialog content. Open the UI editor. Add a new panel and rename it to dialog. The UI should include two images, one as the dialog box background, the other as the background of the role name. And two text boxes to carry the text of role name and the dialog content. Drag to adjust the size and positions of these widgets. Set the font style of the text and text settings. Adjust the levels of the widgets. Select the whole panel and uncheck Visible to hide the dialog UI until it is triggered. Step 2. Edit Table. Now, we need to store the data of the dialog using the table editor. Open Table Editor. The data we need to store includes the dialog order, the role name, and the dialog content. Every piece of the data includes multiple attributes and values. Therefore, we click to create a multi-dimensional table. Rename it to Scripts. In Scripts, modify the primary index key to order. Keep its type as int. Note that the data format of primary keys must be an integer or a string. Add two attributes, role name and content of type string. Now, we finished setting the data structure of the table. Next, we need to enter all dialog data into this multi-dimensional table. Pay attention that keys are not allowed to be duplicated both in one-dimensional tables and multi-dimensional tables. Step 3. Edit the trigger. The last step is to use the triggers to display the dialog UI and present the dialog content in turn. Enter the triggers. Add a new trigger. The event is hardware input, keyboard space pressed. In action, we need to create a global integer variable, order, to record the number of times the spacebar is pressed. The default value is 0. Then, use the function mathematical operation between integers. Set variable order as order plus 1. In this way, the first time we press the spacebar, order equals 1. The second time we press the spacebar, order equals 2. Then, add two actions to set the text of the role name and the dialog content. Select UI, set text. Set widget role name text for player 1. For the string parameter, select General, then select the second string value from the table, which is for the multi-dimensional table. Choose Scripts as the table. Select the global integer variable, order, as the first index. Enter the string value, role name, for the second index. Now, when we press the spacebar for the first time, order equals 1. The data of primary index 1 and role name will be set as the text. When we press the spacebar again, order equals 2. The data of primary index 2 and role name will be set as the text. Repeat the steps to set the text of dialog content. Lastly, we need to display the dialog UI. Select UI Display, Hide Widget. Set to display widget dialog for player 1. Select True to display. Now, all the settings are done. Let's enter the game and test the effect. Let's review what we learned today. In this video, we learned about the data structure and use of one-dimensional table and multi-dimensional table. We used UI, multi-dimensional table, and triggers to achieve the effect of an interactive dialog UI. In the next video, we will learn about the function library. See you next time.